Jen with Convicted Hearts, and if you have a convicted heart, you are in the right place. Today, I have the honor of being here with a very special guest named Lisa, and we're going to speak about something a little different today. This is new to the channel, but it's very important that we speak of this. This is an epidemic within our community, and Lisa has a very special view on this and a very special place in her heart. So welcome, Lisa. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Yeah, I had recently seen, I believe it was some of your work that you were out speaking in the public, and I was like, this is somebody who I would really like to speak to about, your loss and how that's affected you. And can you sort of give us a little history so people know where you're coming from and what's going on with the story here?
Yeah, on March 26, 2020, I lost my only child. He was 17 years old. He was Fernando Sanchez, and he died from fentanyl poisoning.
Wow.
He thought he was taking a Xanax, and what he really took was a fake pill.
Yeah. My condolences, first of all. I cannot imagine what you've been through. I have heard from several people who have had children or even adults really that have taken what they thought was a Xanax and it ended up having fentanyl in it. Is that something that, since you're working to spread awareness, have you been hearing that a lot?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously the first time I heard about fentanyl was when I lost my son. And my son died right when the pandemic hit, like right when everything was shut down.
Yeah.
So, that was hard because they didn't even have help. The funeral homes didn't even know how they were going to have funerals. They weren't allowing people together, and so it was right when the shutdown happened, and I went on my social media as soon as I found out from the police that they think it was fentanyl. I went on to my social media and I shared what happened to my son. I know that I come from a small town, Norway's not that big, and I know people were kind of curious what happened. So just to kind of put it out there, and basically to warn parents and kids, like, hey, my son died from buying a fake pill. I thought it was important to share. So
yeah, that was very responsible and thoughtful of you to put that out there immediately.
Well, then our newspaper actually wrote an article about increase in overdoses, but they said, and this was 2 weeks before my son passed, an article came out, and they said that there was no fatality. And so when I read that article, that was another push, like, oh no, wait, there was a fatality. It was a 17-year-old kid, and so that too was my reason behind it.
Oh wow. Now, tell me a little bit about your son. Was he into sports? What did he enjoy?
My son loved music.
Music, okay.
He loved music, loved rapping, loved, I always would listen to him in his room, and he'd be in the shower with his rap music on, and I would bang on the door for him to turn it down, and so he would turn it up even more and be even louder just to get on my nerves.
Yes.
But him being my only son, it was he was my everything. He was, at the time I was single, and basically, I just never felt like I would be without him.
Yeah.
So it's been hard. I mean, because you never really think about, once you become a parent, you never think that you're not going to be a parent one day, or you're never going to be a grandparent, or it's something that you just don't think about, and nobody should have.
No,
so
you're right. Nobody should. On the day or night that this actually took place, can you remember, like, specifically leading up to that? I'm sure it's pretty vivid.
So so let me go back. He tried Xanax before, and he got in trouble, and it got him into the hall a little bit. So he was on probation. He was able to get out, and I didn't think he would try it again because he got a couple of last time, and got out. He was he did everything. So the day that he decided to go out with his friends, that day, that's when the shutdown happened. And usually we had meetings at my house with it, because in order for him to get out, he had to we had a group where we had 2 girls counseling them. I even had counselors, they would come to my house every other week. Probation officer would come. It was a program we had to do. So he did everything he was supposed to do on probation. He did all this work, community service, bottle clean. That day I get home, it was the first meeting we had over the phone. All the other ones were in person. So I get home at lunch and I told him, we told this in the group home, found out I've been doing his work online. And he's in the background, like telling me, like you're doing too much, shut up, kind of. And so I was like, you know what? But when I get home, I'll log in with him and see what the problem is.
Yeah.
And so I get home from work and I just thought that he was trying to avoid me. He wasn't home. I call him, didn't answer, and he only goes to one of his best friend's house, one friend. And so I just assumed he was there. And I was like, you know what? He's been doing good. The probation officer said, this is the last time we're going to meet. Next time I see you is going to be when I recommend you getting off probation. That's that.
Yeah.
So he met up with 2 friends and they decided to go and buy some down. Tim was probably thinking, I'm not going to be bottled. They go party. And what they bought wasn't down at all. They met up with the kid on Snapchat. They knew him already, I'm guessing.
Mhm.
They contacted him through Snapchat. And that's when I guess the other 2 boys fell asleep. My son ended up walking to his best friend's house where he was supposed to be at. And when he got there and he actually sat down, I think that's when every body went into rest and he got overdosed. And I get the call at my door in the middle of the road, like 10 in the middle of the morning. They said, you gotta get to the hospital, your son ingested something, we're not sure what it is. The last report we got from EMT was that they got a heartbeat test. And in my head, I didn't register that they got the heartbeat back. I just thought, oh good, he's with EMT.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come home.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was gonna come home. I don't know what I just didn't register. So I got dressed, I picked up my sister on the way to the hospital, and we get off the car and I could see the ambulance and them kind of standing out around it. We're walking up to the emergency door and EMT, in front of me, like I didn't even see where it came from. And he's like, who are you here to see? And I said, my son. Christ brought him in.
Mhm.
He goes, oh, he didn't make it. Just so casual. And I just remember my vision going back on black. And my sister behind me, she's like, how did you tell her like that? And next thing I remember is being inside the hospital answering questions. Like I don't remember walking in. I don't remember nothing but just sitting there asking questions, basically the days for things. And he wasn't connected to no or no nothing. He never even made it to the hospital side of that.
You knew when you saw him that it was
Yeah.
gone.
It just was. It's something that because I didn't expect to not come home with him. It was like I was in shock for days.
Yeah.
I still feel like sometimes I still don't really believe it. But it was that quick.
Yes.
And,
Would you say it was like an out-of-body experience for you? Like,
oh
yeah.
I just wish I would have stayed with him, a little bit longer, or because we were, even when we went to go see him for the last time, we were forced to leave. We weren't even allowed to have we could have had buried him, but the way everything was going, it was like nobody could be there, just to be you and so
Yeah.
and your immediate, and that's that. So yeah.
Mm.
It was so hard. It was a hard time. And so I posted my post about him. And one night I was having a really hard night. And for the first time, I would never thought in my life I would ever do maybe harm myself. But that night I thought I don't want to wake up I don't want to wake up tomorrow and feel this pain. Like I have nothing to live for. Like, I mean, if I die, I don't have no kids. I don't want to feel like this anymore.
Yeah.
The pain was that hard, and I remember going to bed that night, waking up the next morning, and my eyes were all puffy, getting ready for work, and I just happened to jump on Facebook. And when I got on, I seen another dad he was on a podcast with my friend. It's kind of weird, but he was sharing his story about his son, and he lost his only son in retirement. I never friend request people. But that morning, I friend requested him, and I just sent him a message, and I just said, I'm going through the same thing. Maybe you can tell me how, he was sharing for awareness, and I said, I would like to, know more about, just putting it out there and trying to warn other people. He called me and he said, you have 15 minutes free, and I said, yes. So he called me, we stood on the phone probably about an hour and a half, and he connected me with, right away. He was just really supportive. He was from down south, from town. And so, and from there, I started going. They invited me to a lot of community and meeting a lot of parents. I learned more about the education of the different poisoning and overdose. And there was people who can overdose with fentanyl, and then there's people who are poisoned by it. So there's, and there's people who go out and look for fentanyl, they find it in heroin, and then heroin, when it's not enough, that next level is fentanyl. And so,
I'm glad I'm glad you're clarifying that, because I have heard both terms used, but I didn't know why poisoning versus overdose. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, in those terms, if you're looking for it, just you gotta know your body. You have to have the tolerance for it, and so if you take too much, then you're gonna overdose. But for the ones like my kid and a lot of other young kids out there, and adults too, they're buying Xanax, self-medicating, the lockdown, the stress, for whatever reason, maybe just party, they're buying something that they think is Percocet, oxycodone, Xanax, and they're thinking that's what they're taking. But instead, in my son's system, there was no Xanax in the system. There was fentanyl and fentanyl. So what he thought he was buying wasn't
even, yeah.
And that's when we call it a poison.
Yes. That makes complete sense. That's definitely a poisoning.
And I get it. A lot, you hear all the time overdose, and that's and little by little, I'm starting to hear it change. And I think it's from all the parents, out there raising awareness as well. Yeah. And so, and through Jaime, I met. So he introduced me to another mom in Joe. Her name is Caroline. And so between me and her, we've just been, any chance we get kids. We don't want more people in the group, but it's nice to have somebody alongside of you. Right. Trying to spread the word. And so, right.
It almost sounds, I don't know if you're a religious person, but hearing you explain logging onto Facebook and just happening to come upon that, it's almost like God placed that in front of you at a time that you really needed it.
Yeah, and he did. It gave me a reason. Okay, it gave me a reason. Okay, I can do this. I do have, a purpose out here. Yeah. Maybe I'm not a mom, every day level anymore, and that's it from me. But I could save other people from going through this.
Definitely. Do you feel like once you've started speaking with others and in groups, has that given you a sense of, I can share my son's life and there's more to this?
Oh yeah. And the response back from the teenagers is what really kind of, at the end of my sharing, usually it fills my heart. Like they listen and they'll share with me, and I tell parents to just communicate with them. Don't, hound it. It's not to be scare them or hound them, but it just opens up conversation. It'd be a little, and so when some of the kids share back with me, oh yeah, that happened to me, or oh, I think that I might have overdosed before on fentanyl, or it I just want to tell them, like, maybe the parents know how lucky they are, like, how close it seems to living my life. Like, man, and I don't know if my son would have been saved, like, there is Narcan, which Narcan is the medication that reverses overdose, or reverses.
Okay.
But my son had Narcan in his system. So, and I do believe in it. I do hear so many stories of these archives dating people, but it just didn't seem my stomach's still warm when they got unmovable. It wasn't like, they got to me too late. It just, I don't know if they didn't have enough archives or
Yeah,
exactly what
that's heavy. Did any of the friends that he was with ingest that fentanyl as
happened.
well?
They fell asleep, and I think it might have been, because you really don't know how much fentanyl is being put in each pill.
Yeah,
They're not, people making them is not.
they're not
they're not
chemists.
pharmaceutical, right?
Hmm?
So, they fell asleep, and I think the tolerance might have been higher than 2 boys he was with
Yeah.
were already using, and so I think their tolerance was higher than, and they were that for the box. So my
Sure.
son was, obviously bottled clean, and
Yeah. Did after the events took place, and I'm assuming they looked into what he had taken, did they follow up with an investigation at like where they got this from?
So yeah, the Santa Clara County, the DA wanted a full investigation. My son was underage, obviously.
Mhm.
And so from what the detectives told me, they just said that, no, they went door to door, they did a couple search warrants. Basically, the kids are not really talking, and they asked them what's on the phone, basically like that. They knew who, they gave me a name of the kid who, that my son's friends gave me the name of the kid who they got it from. They said they knew him, they might have had an interaction with him, but based on there wasn't enough evidence to get an arrest. Now, when I met Geraldine, I met another mom a week before I met her, and she was a Bolton girl. Their sons were actually friends. Geraldine lost her son in November, and when I was talking to her for the first time, she said a name of a kid who her son bought it from, and I go, "Oh my God, I just met him on last week," and she said the same name. So, and her son died a couple months after. It was in February of 2021. Sterling's son died in November 2020, and then the little Joe, he died in February 2021. So they bought from the same.
Wow.
And there's no correct.
That
I
makes
get it. Yeah, and it's like, I get that it's hard because they have to prove that the person selling knew that what they were selling was fentanyl. But I think they do. I mean, I felt like they had enough evidence. There were messages going, people the board. But it's maybe just taking a little bit longer to. I'm not too sure. There's not a lot of arrests being made. It's rare. It's rare when you hear somebody getting arrested for it. But I know that they're doing a lot of things. Like we went to the Capitol. I think it was last year. We went to the state capitol. They were trying to pass a law, SB 350, which was kind of like the mothers get writing law that where the cops, if you get caught selling drugs, they say, that if you get caught again and someone dies, from the drugs that you sell, you could get arrested for murder. Well, that went up to the Senate. The safety committee or senators, the safety committee, they didn't pass it. They went back up again this year. They didn't pass it. So we're trying, I guess they're going to try and get it on the ballot. That might take a little bit more money, but these are our kids that are dying, and it just blows me away how they feel like, well, we don't want to lock all these people up. They just have an addiction problem. That's not going to solve it. But by not doing anything, it's just making the problem worse. And I think that's why it's getting worse.
Yeah.
Nobody's really being being held accountable.
Right.
And that's the hardest part. That part is hard. I put together, I don't know if it's I started putting together a map. I call it the angel map. To try to connect families, maybe. You really don't know who's in your area. Everybody's so hush hush about it. And I get it. We don't want your kid to look at as bad, or you don't want to be judged. You're mourning, and the last thing you want is for people to remember your child as a drug addict or just anything negative. And I think that's why people talk about it enough. So I did this angel map in order to kind of connect people in the things with Cook, like how I met Geraldine and then I met the other mom, Eleanor. And so that's just in our town. I know there's more, but maybe, by connecting each other, you could, my son bought this person, maybe you could connect the same dealers, maybe you could, maybe help each other with filing the case. Just having another parent, to read with you helps as well. And I know that for us three, we really connected.
Really, yeah, definitely. That support system is so important. And I think you making that map, Lisa, is absolutely genius and life-saving, sharing that information.
I mean, I put every child in there and I put the information, put their path, they're so young. And most of their deaths are 20, June 2019, basically it's all 2020 and 2021. So kind of see how much it's an epidemic. There's more kids dying from fentanyl than from COVID. My
goodness. Yeah, I would definitely agree with you, just as being a friend to someone who lost her grandson, 14-year-old, to a fentanyl poisoning. And she's having a really difficult time. I might see if I can connect you with her and see, I think she could use the support. But yeah, he was 14 years old, and it's not, I know maybe like people that make these laws and things, they're looking at it like addicts or addiction. That's not what it is. And let's be honest, like I'm going to speak for myself. It was not uncommon for us back in the day to take a pill. So let's not be so judgmental because this is reality. It's just that our kids are now faced with a poison, a substance that I don't think existed when we were coming up.
That's the crazy part is that, this is what teenagers do. Young kids, they experiment, they smoke pot. They maybe, back when I was in high school, kids were, popping acid and shrooms, but never thought this maybe have a bad trip, but I'm not going to die.
Right.
And so I know that there was harm in doing it, but at the same time, it wasn't not how it is now. It's not how like pretty much every kill on the street, there's a good chance that, and it's mainly in I know there's some methamphetamine coke. There's I've heard of some people dying from the cocaine having fentanyl in it, but I think that you really don't know what if the pills they look like the real thing.
So real, yeah.
And I think that when the lockdown happened, this is my own opinion about how it really skyrocketed. I think when the lockdown happened, people weren't able to go to their doctors and see their doctors and get a new medication or a new prescription. So they started to ask, on the streets, like, hey, can I get that? When they started looking for the pill. Well, I think it caught wind of the cartel, and they were just like, well, what are these pills? How do we make them? That's when they got connected with China. And fentanyl's really cheap. Fentanyl's cheap and really addictive. Not trying to kill, the people buying it, but that's the risk we're willing to take for the profit. And so, it's odorless. You won't even know it's in there. So a cheaper way they make it kill what people wanted it, and they start running the streets. And they'll take profit over, a life.
That's
really and it's not. I feel like the numbers are not going down; they're only going up.
Yeah, it does feel like it's going up. I would have to definitely piggyback off of what you said. And during this pandemic, I have noticed the same, like a surge in these sort of things. And a lot of people, and even there was some changes in the law where they were cracking down on opioids. So people were being cut off from their pain management doctors, maybe. So they started seeking out.
Because the doctors were getting looked at as, they were prescribing them too easy, and people knew how the doctor shopped and knew what doctors were on the pill. They started getting addicted.
right.
And which kind of goes back, to another, the pharmaceutical company,
Hmm.
that's another whole
Yeah,
other issue and rabbit hole to go down, but
yeah. And there are people out here, living in real chronic pain, and it's just such a widespread amount of people that are affected and touched by this. So
I
we
think,
shouldn't stigmatize,
no, and I think too, I feel bad for the ones who might have been sick by narcotics, who overdosed, might have been sick. Now they have a whole different problem. Now they're, because the fentanyl is so addictive, that now it's like they got a new, they got a taste of this high, and now they have a problem trying to find the right program to come off of it. I don't know if the family is aware of it, or if it's someone underage, like
Mhm.
parents are aware of how close this is going to get.
Wow, that's
That's
true. That's so
yeah.
scary to think of. We always had been taught that the biggest thing to be afraid of coming down from was something like heroin, but fentanyl,
And
I
it's
guess, is
worse.
stronger than that, right? It's worse.
Mhm.
So,
It's 50 to 100 times more powerful. So,
oh
yeah.
my
I
goodness.
mean, they use it, the doctors use it whenever they get surgery, they use it with the anesthesia, I guess.
Oh, okay.
They give it to cancer patients, they want to
Mhm.
capture stuff. So it is for pain, but it's not something for a normal person. If you're at the hospital, you're under, you're
It
being
should be
monitored.
administered by
Yeah,
by a
yeah.
physician, or yeah.
Right.
That's that is definitely concerning. And were you able, like you said, this sort of happened during the pandemic and everything. Were you able to have a service for your son after all, or
So my son passed in March, and so we didn't have anything until it was August.
okay,
Was when we actually had, my work site cremated him. So yeah, we had a really beautiful service
good.
in August. I had a lot of support, that I do have a lot of help with friends, and I have two sisters that are three sisters, and a lot of family. So
Oh,
I
good.
am thankful for that.
Mhm.
I had them check on me. They were taking turns in the background, I guess, who was gonna, bring me dinner, and who was gonna, every day somebody was gonna come by, and sometimes I had to like pick them out, push them away. It's
Right.
a little
Yeah.
lot, but I'm
Yeah.
thankful that, for the support.
For the support system. Yeah. Would you say, like, if you had to offer that advice, I know I've always felt like there's such a sort of void. Nobody really knows what to do when somebody's grieving.
And that's
What
the
helped
touch.
you? Hmm.
That's a really good comment, because like I you don't really, every death is different. And losing a child is the ultimate, I think.
Hmm.
That's going to become a parent, like that is your greatest fear. You gotta take care of this kid, and everything is for your child. Grief is not new to me. I lost my mom in a car accident when I was 15, and she was it was right before her 37th birthday. She was on her way to Eureka after a car accident. So
So sorry.
back then, me and my sisters, I have a little brother, two sisters, and we didn't know anybody else who was really grieving, or who lost their mom, still have to keep grandmother.
Hmm.
And so maybe, now that I going through this grief again, there's certain things that I do remember, feeling like I remember feeling like that, and it's just trying to keep on a straight face every day, go to work, or when you really just, God, you just want to break down and cry. But
Yeah.
um, I I do hope that people find my, for me, it was God. God came through for me, my son, I'm not alone. I remember after my son passed, I was wondering if he had a Bible. And I knew he had a kid Bible when I was younger, but I was like, I never had a Bible.
Hmm.
And so I went one day, I was leaving to work, and I stopped in his room like, oh, and stood at the door. Every that's what I would normally do. And
Hmm.
I seen him next to his bed. He had this little shelf, and had like little cookies in it. And I remember I seen a book, and I was like, and I went, pulled it out, And I've been in that little cubby thing the past couple weeks. I've been in there looking for certain things, for
Yeah.
just random stuff, and I didn't see that Bible before. But that morning I seen it, and kind of flipped through the pages, and there was a little piece of paper that was tucked in Isaiah 61, and it was the year of favor. It talked about beauty for ashes. It talked about mourning. I mean, it's a great opportunity. It's just it was God talking to me. Those were the little
Yes.
things that I feel like, oh man, like this is God talking. I mean, it couldn't be no clearer. So those kind of things like that kind of kept me going. My pastors have been really good. They kept contact with me all the time. Just really,
That's great.
and that's the only thing I have to really lean on.
Yeah.
I have to be bigger with my God and help me. Okay,
Mhm.
I don't know right now, and I can't, I can't, I can't tell anybody else, how to get through their grief, but
That helped you. Yeah.
yeah,
I think that's all we can do is share what has helped us individually and together. And people can kind of
Yeah,
formulate their own bond
yeah,
through
because at the
that.
same time, I'm thinking like, for me, I was like, why me? Why did I have to lose my son? Why did it have to be him? Like, I felt so like, this is my only kid. Like, why?
Yeah.
And even if you don't get those answers, I just eventually learned, with every God, I wanted to say that maybe my son was heading in the wrong direction,
Mhm.
and this was God's way of saving him before it was too late. I really, this is that only thing I kind of tell myself.
I hear you, what you're
One day,
saying.
hopefully-
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and then one day maybe I'll put the answer, and I just gotta
Mhm.
pray for that he's in heaven with my mom.
Right.
And
Absolutely. Yeah, I hear what you're saying for sure. I think hold on to those little reminders, you know what I mean? Like that scripture you found, the small things, they are God reminding you,
yeah,
with you. He's with you. I wish I
that's
could
what
give you a great big hug right now,
I know.
but you're not far from me, so maybe one day. You never
Hey,
know.
yeah, meet up for, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
I think that'd be awesome.
I think so.
Yeah.
You really opened my eyes to a lot that I was unaware of, and I'm hoping I know a lot of people are going to see this, and it's going to make other people aware of things that are around us. And it is an epidemic, and nobody is immune to it. So
And just
let's,
opening up conversation
yeah,
with this, asking it, you'd be surprised what it's shared. Once
Mhm.
you open up that conversation, it'll probably blow you away. And I had so many parents come back and tell me, oh my God, I brought it up to my son, my daughter, and then they start sharing with them.
Yeah.
And the parents had no idea that the kids, oh yeah, I know kind of people take over, or they start to
Yeah.
share with them. And it's just opening up conversation with them, letting them know, hey, this one will be just one time.
My
You may
goodness,
not get a
yeah,
second chance.
you're right. Yeah, keep the lines of communication open for sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
right.
If people want to reach you, I don't know if you speak at events or if they want to reach out to you just for support, is there somewhere they can reach you?
I'm on Facebook, Lisa Marquez, on Instagram under Lisa_Diane. TikTok is finding Lisa Marquez. I think it's 17 or something. It's when you find out TikTok. I'm not too hard to find. I don't think.
Okay, yeah, afterwards I'll get
Yeah,
the info from you and I'll
yeah,
tag it in the description so that way people
yeah,
can reach out.
yeah. I'm always open. I mean, I pretty much don't hold nothing back. You ask me, whatever it takes to save somebody else, to save another child and another mom from going through this horrible nightmare that I'm going through.
Yeah. Well, I think you are an absolute pillar of strength and God is using you to definitely do his work. And I am so honored to meet you and chat with you today. I want to stay in touch, so I hope you don't mind.
No, definitely. I
Okay,
would
well,
love
it
that.
was, like I said, if there's anyone that wants to reach out to Lisa, I'll have her information tagged in the description when this video is posted. Until then, thank you, Lisa. I really appreciate you again. You guys all remember, keep your hearts convicted.